Welcome back to another episode of the Draft Back Podcast. I am Bradley, as always, joined by my co-host Zand. And if you missed last episode, we did a fun little 2025 mock draft. So go give that a listen if you haven't already. But how are you doing today, Zand?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited for another episode. I think we're probably wrapping up our off-season stuff, like the main off-season
Yeah,
stuff, so like the draft and free agency. So this
yeah.
pretty much is
We're still
wrapping up.
obviously going to talk about it, but
Right, but like this is like the last. I feel like big week for it. So
yeah, big.
like see it come to a close. I'm excited for it. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. The boring time of football is coming up, sadly,
Oh
though.
gosh, yeah.
It's just going to be. It's just
Next
going
week,
to be very dry out there.
I think it's like
Um,
next week is really when it truly is just gonna hit rock bottom.
yeah. Like this
No,
week, we're still like getting NFL draft players getting signed,
yeah. Which
like small roster moves. Rookie mini camps
mhm.
are opening up. I know the Patriots opened up today.
They start tomorrow, but they opened up today.
Uh, no, the Steelers start tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Um,
May 10th. That's just pun right
yeah,
there, in my opinion.
yeah. Wait, you said dumb?
No, I said a pun right there
Oh, May 10th.
because Drake May wears 10. Pretty nice though, I will say. Um, Today I think we're probably doing what the not like five winners and losers, maybe not
just
up to five probably.
yeah, like honestly, just like overall winners and losers.
Yeah.
This episode's maybe will be all over the place.
Yeah.
Because it's just winners and losers. Um, Basically just two guys talking about football.
So the whole podcast just summed
Yeah,
up in that sentence.
yeah. Anytime I think of like just two guys talking about football, I'll always think of that meme. Dude, we should start a podcast.
That's See, I thought of did you watch mine?
I've seen some vines, but I never like.
Like the two dudes chilling in a hot tub. That's immediately what I just thought of. Um,
uh, that's funny.
I gotta be honest, we're probably just gonna be shouting out teams we thought killed it and like teams that we thought sucked. So it's more
Yeah,
just
that's basically what today's episode is.
um, yeah. Do you
Um,
want to get right into it?
yeah. Let's get right into it.
I'll
Would
let
you
you
like to
start.
start? Or would you
I'll
like
let you
me to
start.
start?
I'll let
Let
you
me to
start.
start. Um, well, I think the team that truly won this offseason, like won all overall, was the Chicago Bears. Um, because they got rid of uh, Justin Fields. You knew that never worked out. Bears fans were like still hoping for him to work out, but it was smart. You had the first overall pick. You're coming off a okay year, nothing too special. Um, but you get Caleb Williams in the draft. Roma Dunze falls to you, and their free agency wasn't anything major. But how I'm looking at it is they're building their offense. They're like somewhat in rebuild mode, but now not after this offseason.
Yeah.
But I think they're building their offense first and then building their defense because their defense is still a worry. And also keeping their coaching is still a concern for me. But I think they built their offense really well.
I yeah, I agree with that. I didn't end up putting him as like a true overall winner. I mean, they had a great draft, but their free agency just lacked, you know. And they
Yeah, I mean
had money, but it's not like
they
they
still
didn't.
had they still got Keenan Allen.
True.
Um,
Oh, true. I forgot about that. I forgot about trades.
yeah,
This
and
wasn't too bad.
I don't know. In my opinion, I
Oh,
think this was the big step the Bears needed to take,
yeah.
and they honestly won overall, in my opinion, and they won last year's offseason as well. You could say because they
True.
fleeced the
Panthers.
Panthers. So the Panthers would be in the same exact situation as the Bears if the trade was literally switched.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I would love to have seen what would have happened if the Panthers had just sat, because they probably would have just drafted like Will Levis, and then um, oh, what else would they probably have done? They still would have had the first pick, and then probably just picked Marvin at one.
Yeah, and
Which would
honestly,
have
that
been
wouldn't have been too bad.
no, I think they'd be chilling right now.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, you have any thoughts on the Bears?
Honestly, I think you covered it. It was a solid off season. Nothing major for free agency outside of Keenan Allen. They weren't my biggest winner. It's the other team we talked about actually just now. I thought the Panthers killed the entire offseason. I mean, they literally filled out their roster completely. They helped Bryce Young in the interior, which was gravely needed. If you watched that line this past year, the inside was destroyed. Robert Hunt, Damian Lewis, two great guards. They paid him decent. Well, okay, Robert Hunt was a little overpay.
Yeah,
They paid
Robert
him
Hunt
well.
is now like the highest paid offensive lineman in the league now, I believe.
Crazy overpay, but that's what you do in free agency. They got a lot of defensive pieces, which I don't hate at all. And then in the draft, they killed it too. Honestly, like I really just loved everything they did this offseason. Um, and they just helped Bryce Young. So Bryce Young is a winner. The Panthers were a winner, and without a first round pick, well, technically to start the draft, they didn't have a first round pick. They did well. They also got Deontay Johnson, and that really helps that wide receiver core. So
Yeah, I never thought of the Panthers as a winner, but I mean, now thinking about it, like looking at the whole picture, I do think they are a winner. Um, because they were in like beyond rebuild mode. They're like
yeah,
in sinking. They're on a sinking ship that's already sank.
yep.
Um, and now they're just trying to get above water now. Um, and I think this is a good start for it. And um, this year, I feel is kind of a make or break season for for Bryce Young.
Fair.
I'm not saying like I won't I have to see him be like in the MVP conversation, but I have to see a pretty good season for me to
I need to just see improvement. That's all I'm asking
yeah
for is improvement.
because
And in my
he
opinion, you give him 3 years. So this is his second year, and it's his first real year with a good coach, which also is another reason I have him as a winner because the coach they hired, I think that was one of my favorite, if not my actual favorite coaching hire with Dave Canales. He's a genius. He helped Baker and Gino.
oh yeah he was a he really helped that Bucks offense a lot. Um, but yeah, I the Panthers did pretty good. They had a good overall draft as well.
Thought so. Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but
I didn't even realize I got Jordan Fuller, which helps the safety room. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a Panthers fan at this point, to be honest. So, like, part-time Panthers fan. So maybe it's just that part that I have them that high. Yeah,
it,
that's all I got on the Panthers. So,
um, I guess I'll move on to losers. Um, I have. I'm gonna say the Bills. The Bills are
I don't
definitely a
hate it.
loser for me because they still have Josh Allen. So I'm not saying like them losing this offseason is like. Um, I don't think they're gonna have a awful year, but I think it might be worse than last year. And the Bills let their whole defense walk. They either got released or they just like walked in free agency.
Yeah,
And they were very old, but now you have to rebuild that offense. And you traded Stephon Diggs, lost Gabe Davis. You brought in Keenan
Keenan
Coleman.
Coleman
Um,
and um and
but
Chase Claypool.
Yeah,
and Curtis
and
Samuel.
yeah, but like that is still that wide receiver room like scares me. Or relying on a
Okay.
rookie. You said what?
I said it's okay at best.
Yeah, like that receiving room, like you're relying on a rookie, so like as your wide receiver one, truly.
That's what the Chiefs did last year.
Okay, but Patrick Mahomes in one of the greatest
No, I agree
defensive
with you. I'm just
schemes
saying
we've
that's what the
ever
Chiefs did
seen.
last year.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that is fair. Um, but they had a they had a defense though. That's the thing. Um, and I do think Josh Allen can carry this team. Josh Allen is a very talented quarterback, and I think he will make some plays happen. And but they're just off season. They were so close to a Super Bowl appearance, and then just after that, everything I just feel like has just failed. And
It was
I feel like they went into panic mode halfway through the season because they fired their offensive coordinator.
he was awful though.
Yeah, he was, but it kind of just felt like a panic fire.
Fair. I don't know.
Because they were like they were doing okay. But I don't think anything fireable. Um,
He was hurting Stephon Diggs. I'm pretty sure. Like how Stephon Diggs. Well, after the firing, he actually did worse.
no,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was smart to trade Stephon Diggs, I guess, because yeah, I guess it's smart to trade Stephon
That
Diggs.
one, I didn't hate that. I honestly, I think I was actually, and I'm a Patriots fan, so like obviously I like it because they got rid of a good wide receiver, but also at the same time, he's a toxic teammate, and he was beefing with everybody in the facility. You got to get him out, and like they got a
Yeah,
second round pick this next year, guaranteed the class isn't as great, but you're helping out your roster in the long run. So it's to me it's fine. Like in my opinion, I think it's going to be just fine. They won't be great this year on offense. I actually am a really big fan of Coleman now, more than I was after the interview process. Did you see his interviews? I think we might have talked about this.
oh yeah we talked about it. Yeah, I did.
I like love him as a person, so I want him to excel, but at the same time he's in my division, so it's just hard for that.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I agree with you. I wasn't a big fan of their offseason either, but I do think they were definitely losers, but not like the biggest loser.
yeah. I'm not saying they're the biggest loser. Um, but they are a loser in my eyes.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. They signed Chase Claypool though. That's like the best wide receiver in Steelers history, right? He's like a top three wide receiver in the league. That's his words. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope he cooks the Patriots this year.
Okay.
No, I'm playing.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
had
know.
I had a shot back, but I decided against it because you said I'm kidding. So
Yeah. Um.
yeah. Okay. So obviously I just pulled it up. Dallas was my first loser. They didn't do good in the draft. They sucked in free agency. I mean, they were the worst team in free agency. They spent $9 million. That's it. Like, or wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. They spent 47 somehow in total, but like for the year, I forgot the amount, but it's super low. Um, let me see. Now they didn't grab a running back outside of Zeke. I guess they brought in Dow back, but that's not great. Zeke's really your RB1. That's not great. You don't really have a true wide receiver too. Your defense is meh in some areas. I don't know. I really wasn't a fan of this. They're still gonna be a top team in the NFC, but I'm just not a fan of their offseason in general.
Yeah, I agree because I don't know teams that are close to a Super Bowl, and I feel like Dallas is one of these teams that are close. I think it's the coaching, the ownership, and I don't think it's necessarily all the players. But they are close to a Super Bowl, not a appearance. I would say a Super Bowl appearance.
That's true.
Um, because they have on both sides of the ball, they have superstars out there to make big plays,
Yeah,
and I just feel like they didn't do anything to bring them closer, especially after the Packers lost. I feel like that was a great time to restart the coaching and fire McCarthy. Mike McCarthy.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the right coach. Yeah, Mike McCarthy, and just restart that coaching because Jerry Jones came out and said like right after that loss, we still trust Mike McCarthy, blah blah blah. Not right after, but like a little bit after he said that, and I don't trust Mike McCarthy at
mhm,
all. That there's nothing that I trust least. He's the least trusted coach in the league, in my
yeah.
opinion.
Honestly, for them to, like you said, for them to ever really succeed in my eyes, McCarthy and owners gotta go. Like both of them have to go. Owners should never touch the team. Like they should not make business decisions with the team outside of handing money over. And him being the GM is just awful. Jerry
Yeah,
Jones is a bum, and you can
I
see it this
agree.
offseason. He fell asleep. All he did was sign Eric Kendricks. Bro fell asleep, and he's 32. Crazy.
How much money did they spend? 47 million.
Yeah, but it's all these, and these won't all count. They probably only spent like 10, 15, like probably like 20 when it all comes down.
Yeah, that's crazy
It is crazy. It was terrible. I
for
really,
for a top team in the NFL.
yeah, top team in the NFC. They probably wouldn't even be top seven in the AFC.
Yeah, that is fair. Um, but I'll get back to a winner. This pains me to say it, but the Baltimore Ravens.
No, I was gonna pick them. Yeah.
I'm not going in order. I'm just like saying the winners and
No,
losers.
yeah, you're.
Like, um, but this team was one game away from the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
and they they did really well in free agency. They still haven't yet got the true number one receiver yet. Like I think Zay Flowers will be good. Um, Tez Walker will also be. The Ravens did draft Tez Walker, correct?
yes, they did. I was
Okay,
paying.
yeah. I think they're just. I still think wide receivers a concern, but they also got Henry. Um, they brought back most of their defense. They did lose Mike McDonald, which is a very big loss, but you were expecting that. Um, caught me
Okay.
off guard with that
Yeah,
ad
sorry. I
there.
was trying to scroll up my computer. My hand slipped.
No, you're good. Um, but I think this is just an overall good offseason. You got Henry. You didn't pay him a crazy amount either. That's the big plus because um, he's 30 and
Yeah,
Henry is a beast. And I think this Henry and Lamar duo, I would nearly guarantee Lamar's not going to put up big numbers this season. Um, I feel like he always does. He never puts up the biggest numbers, but he is one of the best players in the NFL.
he is.
Um, but I just think this was a really good. You're slowly taking another step to make that Super Bowl appearance. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I hope they don't, but
Well, fair, fair. Lamar, honestly, for my division, I don't have that quarterback that I'd be okay making a Super Bowl. But like, I feel like with you, you'd almost be okay with Lamar getting one just because it is Lamar. Nobody
yeah,
else. But like
it,
Lamar himself, you'd be fine with it.
yeah, yes, that's a good way of putting it. Because of there's not many Lamar haters anymore,
Mhm.
but he still does get disrespected. But I
Yeah,
still think like he deserves that like I think if he wins the Super Bowl, like he will get that recognition he deserves. Like people will start being like, "Oh my gosh, he's so good," blah blah blah.
He will probably put himself in like the top, not like 10, I wanted to say 10, top at least 15 quarterbacks all time with that with a Super Bowl win. I'd say two two MVPs, one unanimous MVP, one almost unanimous MVP, and then a Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, he did win MVP this year.
Yeah, which I will say his stats weren't great, and people were hating on him for when he won it. But if you watched him play, he was so like he was definitely the MVP.
Yeah, in Lamar, he like learned. Sometimes he learned not to run the ball as much, and sometimes that does hurt him because sometimes he does not run the ball like he should. But he still he's he got so much better at throwing the ball. Got so much better with pocket awareness. Like his pocket awareness is incredible. His movement in the pocket. I think he is. Yeah, he's just an overall great quarterback.
For sure.
And MVP stands for most valuable player, and
He's yeah.
I would agree. I would say Lamar is maybe one of the few players that makes or breaks his team.
I literally I think right now MVP. When I think of MVP, it's Lamar and Mahomes. Period. That's it. Like
Yeah,
that is the two people I think of right now. Not Josh Allen. I don't think he throws way too many interceptions to be up
I,
there.
I mean,
Burrow's great, but he's
but
not there yet. Like there's like
okay,
there's guys on the cusp, but they're not there.
okay. Back to Josh Allen. You said he throws too many interceptions, so you would not put him on. So okay, let's take Josh Allen away from the Bills.
Yeah,
What do you think? Let's put I don't know, Taylor Heineke back there at quarterback.
that's not fair.
Okay, who would you like to put? Jameis Winston.
Okay, Jameis Winston would throw the same amount of interceptions as he would touchdowns, so
Yeah,
probably the same amount of interceptions Josh would.
but Josh Allen's talent though,
The
he
talent's
can
there.
make.
He just throws the too many interceptions, and it weighs his team down in big moments. Lamar
But
doesn't
in
throw
big moments, but in big moments, he is so clutch.
true, but did they make the Super Bowl?
Okay, no, but
He's part of the reason they lost. I'd argue. I'd also say Lamar's part of the reason they lost, but it's a regular season award, and Lamar had half the amount of turnovers Allen did. So
okay.
I think Allen's gonna fall to like the fifth best quarterback this year on people's rankings after the season ends.
Oh, after this upcoming season.
Like after the season, like he'll
Okay,
fall.
he only had three more interceptions than Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah,
Tua,
he had the
Hurts,
most in the league.
Love. No, Sam Howell did.
Oh yeah, he was like two more.
Um. Okay, well then you could also say Mahomes throws too many interceptions.
Yeah, but he doesn't fumble as much.
Okay, how
Pretty
many?
sure it's
How
like
many?
one or two less. It might be the same.
Here, let's
Well, there's a
see.
reason Mahomes wasn't voted MVP.
Okay, Lamar has 12 fumbles,
It's not 12. I promise you that number is so false.
or like
Fumbles.
like
Look at
not
fumbles
fumbles
lost.
lost. Like he just lost the ball.
Okay, yeah, he lost. I think two.
Um, Creed Humphrey actually has 4 fumbles. I do not see Josh Allen's name on this board. Okay, he's at 12. Sorry, he has 8 fumbles. Let's see how many fumbles he has. Fumbles lost. That's better. Desmond Ritter at 1, Zach Wilson 2, Josh Dobbs 3, Lamar 7.
Okay, that what are you? What side are you using? Because I know one of them's bull.
Team rankings.
That's I think it's one. One of them was like way off. Because I went and watched all the tapes of like the fumbles. He lost two all year.
Okay, maybe after a rewatch, before our
If
QB
that's
rankings.
including postseason, then maybe it's a little bit more. But during season, he didn't. I think it was like 2 or 4 because it was
Okay,
not
but is he still a top three quarterback in your eyes in the league?
Josh Allen.
Yes.
Right now, I'm biased, so no.
Okay. Okay. We'll
I take
get
Joe.
into that
I take Joe.
conversation.
Yes, that is next week. We will start all of that next week.
Yeah, we can talk about that next week. But
Yeah.
um, that's all I had to say about the Ravens. I have nothing else.
I'll go into another winner then. Going off that, another bird. Well, you didn't do Cardinals, did you?
No, no.
I actually was a really big fan of the Cardinals off season. I mean, their draft was amazing, and then they had a solid, not great, but a um, solid free agency cycle. I liked Mac Wilson when he was Patriot. I thought he could have played more than he did. Murphy Bunting, they added to the secondary, which I liked. They also added a bunch in the draft, again, which I liked. Jonah Williams, underrated right tackle. Justin Jones, pretty solid DT. That's like the big ones, at least. Big signings, I think. Maybe there's one more. No, okay, that was it. But then they got Marvin Harrison in the draft. They beefed up the secondary. They literally filled out the board. And I don't know, they did everything I thought they needed to do to like further push that team along to like the next step, like the next level that they can be.
Yeah. Um. And they did. They had a pretty decent season too for
They
what
did.
like not having Kyler. And the big question going into this question is, can Kyler Murray stay healthy? That's the big concern.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's my biggest concern. But they've done a lot to help him stay healthy.
yeah,
I'm not really worried for Kyler. I think Kyler might come back and be a. I hope at least I hope he comes back and is like a top 10 quarterback.
yeah. When he is healthy,
Yeah,
he is a dog, and he
he
is like that 2021
2020
season.
and 2021, dude, spectacular.
Like he led them to the playoffs
Yeah,
against the
I
Rams, lost, but
yeah. I see. I You started talking about Kyler, and then I started thinking of a little kid running with stealing after they're stealing their kid's phone, like the kid stealing the parent's phone and then running away. That's how Kyler runs. So it made me laugh. If I can pull,
yeah,
I wish
that's
I could
pretty
pull that
fun.
up on my phone to get demonetized.
Um,
Yeah, I don't really have much. I just thought they were a winner. I thought they did good. They got some dogs. That's all I really have to say on them.
yeah, yeah. I don't have anything else to really say.
I feel like we've covered them. Do you want to move?
Yeah.
Do you have another loser you want to do, or another winner?
Um, I'll do another loser. Um, I will do. I don't know. I have all these teams written down. Okay, I'll actually say one. I'll do the Falcons.
Okay.
Um,
Did we not do the Falcons?
no, not yet.
Oh, I guess I've looked at them so many
Um,
times. I thought we did.
and the Falcons, their offense, I think, will be a good offense this year. It will be. You have all this talent on the offensive side of the ball. Um, but the defense, what is going to happen? They had the third worst turnovers in the league. They only had 16 turnovers um, total, and defense helps the offense. And I'm scared this season that the defense is not going to help the offense at all. And the Falcons are in a very, very weak division. So they could easily win this division. Or they could have easily won this division. But then they really didn't do anything in the offseason. Yes, you signed uh, Kirk Cousins, and then you turn around in the draft, and then you draft Michael Penix
Yeah.
when you could have had an edge rusher or even a defensive tackle or even a cornerback or, yeah, any of those positions would have been A-okay. Or even Rome Odunze. Like, Michael Penix isn't really going to help your team unless Kirk gets injured. And even then, I don't have confidence in Michael Penix for him to lead this Falcons team. Actually, with this weak division, I think he could. I
He
think he
could.
could. Solid offensive line or good offensive line, good weapons, and a solid run game. Um, but I don't know. It was just a very like after signing Kirk Cousins, you should have went all in. You should have went all in the season, and you just didn't. You didn't make any of those. I don't know. Yeah, just not a big mover for me.
Honestly, yeah, completely agree. I hated their offseason draft and all. I think you mentioned it. Just not good. Like completely ugly. And frankly, the biggest loser on this team for them was probably Kirk Cousins because he went to a team that he didn't think they'd draft a quarterback. What they go do? Drafted a quarterback. Like that was just disrespectful of the Falcons in my mind.
Yeah, he legit wanted out of the Vikings
Yeah,
because he knew they were going to draft a quarterback, and then the Falcons drafted a quarterback.
yeah. Just such. Gosh, I really am curious. Are they like one of the dumbest front offices right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what truly hurts worse. Actually, that was about to be a terrible comp. I'll just say it. Which one hurts worse, Falcons fans? 28-3 or this offseason?
I was
Or
trying to come up with a way to like bring the two together into like one statement, but I just couldn't do it. Oh, the age Michael Penix will be when he gets to start
no way.
28. How many years left on Kirk Cousins' contract at that point? Probably 3. 28 to 3. I'm just kidding because Michael Penix is like 30, right? Almost at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like 24, 25.
Yeah, Michael Penix is on the edge of retirement right now.
Yeah. Um, yeah.
Which quarterback would you rather have? A torn Achilles Aaron Rodgers or a 57-year-old Michael Penix?
Aaron Rodgers for sure. So easy. Not even like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um
man, you
oh
said my
yeah,
team.
it's your turn to say a loser
Yeah. Oh, Raiders.
or a player. Oh, that's the team I had.
Yeah, definitely Raiders. I like the only good signing by them for me was Christian Wilkins. I think that was it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna stick with that. Only good signing was Christian Wilkins, and then their draft sucked, and then they didn't deal with the quarterback, and they ruined Brock Bowers and Michael May. I don't even want to get back into that. It was just terrible. I feel like I talk about that one at least once a week because it makes me so frustrated from the fantasy side of things. We finally finished our draft, dude. It took
Yeah,
forever.
I actually drafted Michael Mayer because I was like, hope
It
for the
was like
best. Hopefully they
late
go into
rounds.
two tight end formation
Yeah. It was
every
late though.
play.
So it's not like it was anything major.
Yeah, I mean, also yes, Brock Bowers was a bad pick for them, but Brock Bowers is still a great prospect. Like I wouldn't. I think they could, if they're smart, they could use Brock Bowers in many different ways.
Well, they definitely can.
Um, and yes, they are still a loser to me.
Fair.
Um,
Apparently, you heard about the. Sorry to interrupt. You heard about the coin flip, right?
oh yeah, where they were like, Teron Arnold or Brock Bowers. How do you do a coin
I don't
flip?
think it was literally a coin flip, but it was like they could have gone either way. I think was how I took
Yeah,
that.
that yeah. Um, and it's crazy to. I would not even tell like someone I'm thinking about drafting that
Mhm.
I'm not letting that leave my organization.
No,
Simple as that.
that would never leave my mouth, honestly. Like dumbest thing they can do.
Yeah.
I don't
Um.
know why they didn't just pick the position in need in the first place though.
Yeah. Like Brock Bowers is not a position in need. Um. But this Raiders team, they're truly just missing. Okay, I don't want to say just missing a quarterback. But they are missing a quarterback. I do think the Christian Wilkins trade or signing was a good signing because that buffs up the defensive line, and I think this Raiders defense could be a scary defense.
Yeah.
I truly do. Matt Crosby, their linebacker core is pretty good. Wilkins, um, their corners are still. I think this defense could be underrated. I think it could be a scary underrated team. Like I wouldn't want to play these guys down the stretch if I still needed a playoff spot. That's how
That's
I'll put it.
that's fair. That's
Um,
honestly so fair.
because Pierce loves Aiden O'Connell, so
Unfortunately.
but I mean everyone wanted them to sign or get Pierce as their head coach. So,
Yeah, fair.
but yeah,
No, I don't know. They were
um,
definitely a loser for me. I'll let you do a winner.
yeah, a winner is I'll go with the obvious one. The Texans here.
Yeah.
I'll go. The Texans are still going all in with this team, which I love. Um, you lost to the Ravens in the playoffs last year, but you did beat the Browns. Um, not you can't be disappointed. You're
No.
coming last year. You lost, or the year before last year, you were 2-15, 3-15, or something.
Yeah. It was 3 and 14. No,
Three
wait,
and fourteen.
it might have been 4 and 13. Something. It was
Yeah,
that range.
under 5 wins,
Yeah.
and then you
Two
go
two
on to
seasons in a
make
row.
the playoffs.
Two
Um,
seasons in a row they were doing that too.
yeah, they like hired a coach, fired a coach, hired a coach, fired a coach,
So crazy.
and they're still going all in. Signed Joe Mixon, criminal Joe Mixon, Daniil Hunter, um, good. Who did they draft? Did they have a good draft? I'm pretty sure they. I'm pretty sure I liked their
Yes.
draft.
Yeah. They drafted one of my favorite corners. They drafted a couple other great players as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're just still slowly building towards the Super Bowl, and this is what teams should do. The Texans took a risk last offseason by um, going all in on Stroud and Will Anderson, and that worked out. And then they had Tank Dell. Um, I think this team, they're still just working towards that Super Bowl
Mhm.
appearance. And this team going into next year could be kind of like that Bengals team in
Oh
2020,
yeah, that was yeah, I could see it.
where they're not the favorites. It's kind of a surprise, like they beat the Chiefs or something.
I
I
want it
don't
to
know.
happen so bad. Anybody who beats the Chiefs, you are one of my favorite teams now. So over the Chiefs.
All right, guys,
Just
remember this is coming from a Patriots fan who
yeah.
lived 20
Hey,
years in happiness.
yeah. Hey, at least all my fans. I'm quoting Tom Brady for the Chiefs. At least my all my fans aren't 14-year-old girls. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, that is fair.
That I loved that moment. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, Brady was so funny in that.
Post anything like post football Brady is just amazing.
No, I know. I thought that was like so incredible.
The jokes
I,
were so cruel, dude.
no, it was so
I
cruel.
never
But
texted you that joke I thought of, and now I forgot it.
oh dang, yeah, you never did. I just thought that was a great like to see Gronk, Bill Belichick, Edelman, Brady all in the same room, and Robert Kraft. I thought that was an incredible like.
Bill Belichick, honestly, might have a career in being a comedian. To be honest,
Yeah,
he's
no, like he was like that was probably the happiest I've ever seen that man.
that's
And he
exactly my
won
thoughts. I'm
super.
like, that's kind of the happiest I've seen him.
Yeah, like he was laughing at these jokes. I was like, whoa, whoa.
He like full belly laughed at one of them. I was like, okay, okay, Bill.
Yeah, like
Friggin'
Julian
Robert Kraft's
Edelman made a
iron
joke.
grip, and you can laugh now.
Yeah, one guy made a joke about Robert Kraft, which I thought was crazy,
Oh
but
no!
it
And
was
then
hilarious.
Brady walked up and said, "Don't say that."
Yeah.
I think that was part of the joke. Like I think that was the whole thing. I really do.
Oh, you did? Well, there are I saw the other day that Gazelle and Aaron Hernandez family, they're very disappointed and
Both of them.
upset.
Oh yeah, both of them. Just go away. Like you cheated on Tom Brady with your karate instructor, you white belt, and then Aaron Hernandez. Come on, at this point, there was a worse joke in there than that. All right, and it was
Yeah.
one Tom Brady made, and it was not about a player. Actually, it was about a player. It was about Drew Bledsoe. That was the worst joke of the bunch.
Yeah. That one
That
I
one was
mean,
that one was wild.
yeah, that one was crazy. Like that really caught me off guard. But I mean, I understand. Understand that Aaron Hernandez family being upset.
He killed somebody.
Okay, yes,
They don't
he
have any
did.
anymore.
He's still a terrible. He was a terrible person, but like it was still a family member. That one's more understanding than Gazelle being
Yeah.
upset. Like Gazelle like cheated on the
Oh,
greatest quarterback ever,
yes.
and then said, "Wait, you made these jokes."
The only joke that actually okay, the Aaron Hernandez joke about like with the Gronk, like the one with Gronk involved, that one was fine. The one
That
where
one was
that
funny.
random guy came up and made the joke about the stool, that was too far. I was like, okay, there's a a fine line. You took it too far. Brady was fine.
Yeah, but that guy was hilarious
He
though.
was. I don't
He
even know who that
was
was, to be honest. I can't remember.
yeah, yeah. It was
Okay.
so funny.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think I was actually gonna sit down. Like it was like I think I forgot what I was doing while watching it, but I just had it in the background and I was like, dang, this is like 2.5 hours long. I don't know if I'll watch it. And then I watched the whole thing.
Fair.
Did you ever watch the whole thing or
I didn't have watched. I didn't. I just haven't had time. Um.
nah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I probably will at some point. I've watched a bunch of the clips and stuff of it, but I'll probably sit down and watch the full thing at some point. But yeah, I'm gonna use that transition to go into my next winner. If that's cool, since we're already talking Patriot. I'm gonna be biased and say my own team was a win. I mean, I just love
I
their
mean,
signings. So
yeah, that's completely fair.
Owenu kept our right tackle a W. Bourne, I got to keep my jersey. What a W. Jennings, I don't know. I liked Jennings. I thought he was kind of underrated this past year. We need an RB2 after Zeke left. Brissett, with the strategy we're going with, made sense as a signing. Taki's severely underrated. KJ, kind of underrated as well. Your player, don't know how to pronounce his name. You didn't like him though. He's okay.
Oh, he is so bad. Okafor? Yeah,
Yeah,
he is awful. Just a heads up. Terrible tackle.
noted. He's our backup, so it's fine.
Okay, good.
Cooper, tied in two. I like it. Uche, we somehow kept, which I was shocked about. I liked Armin Watts as well. That was honestly it for free agency, I believe. Yeah, that was it. Oh, okay. Joey Sly, which we needed another kicker. We needed kicking camp, which I liked that we're doing that. Um, but more of the win was the draft. I thought we killed the draft. I'm biased, but I thought it was the best draft the Patriots have done in like 15 years. Um, at least. I just thought we killed it at every single spot. And so that's why I just put us as a winner because we got our quarterback of the future. In my opinion, quarterback two. We got my wide receiver six and my wide receiver 15. Um, so I don't know. I just liked it. It's a good draft, good free agency, good everything.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Patriots are in rebuild mode right now, and this is truly how you start rebuild mode. You get the quarterback, you build around him, and that's what the Patriots did.
Yeah,
And I think they did it pretty well. I think Gibson was a good signing for y'all as
yeah,
well.
very
I think he
like
could be a
honestly,
good running back.
it was very underrated to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you have
I don't have
anything
anything
else?
more to say. So
Okay. Well,
yeah,
um, I'll move on with a loser, and I will say the Dallas Cowboys.
yes,
Because what are the Dallas Cowboys doing?
I did already do the Cowboys by the way.
Oh wait, yeah, you already did the Cowboys. Oh my gosh,
I
my all timers are kicking in.
yeah, yeah, both of us for Joe Biden now.
Oh my gosh. Oh wow.
So that's what it's like.
Oh my gosh. I cannot believe.
Completely forgot like the last 15 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay, well, let's just talk about the Cowboys. No, but okay, another loser. I'll pick another one besides the Denver Broncos.
For Broncos, okay.
Yeah, the Broncos, or
Broncos country.
I feel like they're not in total rebuild mode yet.
They're
Like
kind
I
of.
feel like they're still trying to win, and obviously, yes, a team is always trying to win. Um, but at a point, you just got to nearly give up and just trade away Cortland Sutton and trade away Simmons
Yeah.
and just to get draft capital for them.
Simmons is gone, by the
Be-
way. He's a free agent.
Wait, is he still a free agent?
Yeah, he's just chilling.
Oh wow. Okay, well never mind. Um okay, yeah, that kind of shocked me. Okay. But um I I think the Broncos, they had a bad draft. They drafted Bo Nix way too early, and for a team like this, I don't think you should draft a quarterback. I don't. Simple as that. You cannot put a rookie in a terrible situation like this. This is like Bryce Young going to the Panthers.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Hey, at least they didn't
um,
have to give up a first. It's like even if they
th-
suck, they can get like Luther Burden next year and like actually have a weapon for him.
yeah, yeah, and I think Bo Nix could be a very capable quarterback, but I think the situation he is in just is so bad. Is so bad. And I don't trust Sean Payton at all.
Fair.
Um, but yeah, this Broncos team, um, it's gonna be the worst team in the league, and they just didn't. I don't know. They just didn't make any moves that brought them closer to winning,
Yeah. Well,
and they didn't make a move. I feel like they're in the middle of not rebuild and trying to rebuild.
they're like trying to retool, but it's not working because of Russ. They didn't have
Yeah,
any money, and so
and they
that's
still have
their
the
issue.
Russ
They
contract.
will have
Yeah.
money post June, I'm pretty sure is what it is. and they might make a couple signings again.
I mean, they better.
Yeah, I hope they do. I don't know. I don't think it was a great by them this off season. I didn't have them as a loser per se. I just didn't have them a winner. They were just awkward. They were like an eighth grade, like just like an eighth grader, completely awkward stage of life. I think we all had that
Yeah.
stage, you know.
Yeah, like walking into high school for the first time.
Yeah, like right there. Like this is where they are right now. That's where they're at. Hopefully, hopefully they get that glow up and get all that, you know, get rid of the pimples, get rid of all of it, you know, fix up the hair. But they're not close right now.
Finally hit puberty.
So finally, I was kind of, I wasn't shocked per se when they drafted Bo Nix, but I was almost like thinking to myself, at this point, you probably should have just stuck with Zach Wilson. Like, you know, like I think that was my
Yeah.
biggest grievance with it. But like at that point, they couldn't trade back and still get a quarterback because Nix was going to go at 13. I don't think you should let Nix go to the Raiders either.
Yeah. I yeah, I agree. Because whenever you draft a quarterback, I feel like you have to have a plan for him
Yeah.
and like have a plan to like you're going into the offseason, you know the guy you want to draft and you're building around him slowly. And I just they didn't do that this offseason. And they did not like build around Bo Nix. And
Yeah. I mean, Troy Franklin was a good pick.
no, yes, I do agree with that. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if they're necessarily a loser thinking about it overall.
They're
Um,
not a loser, but for me at least, they definitely I could see them being a loser. Like I don't disagree. They're not a loser for me though, but they're definitely not a winner.
yeah, yeah, they're gonna have a rough season. I'm sorry, Bronco fans.
Yeah. Sorry guys. I hold on. I'm thinking I might be saying the Niners for my. I'm probably saying the Niners for my last. Probably last loser. We'll probably end up doing maybe one more.
Yeah,
I was not a fan of the Niners this offseason. Your offensive line sucked in the Super Bowl. You didn't do really anything I'm looking at to fix it in the draft or here. You helped the Chiefs in the draft. You're a total L for that, like completely total L. Um, their biggest signing was Leonard Floyd. They let go of Chase Young. Why didn't you just bring back Chase Young? He was about the same price. Like, I would rather have Chase Young than Leonard Floyd. Maybe crazy, I don't know.
yeah,
At least for the youth. You
I
didn't
would
really
rather
help the
have
Rock.
Chase Young.
Yeah, look at the signings. Like outside of Rocky Sin, like that's it. Like that's the only signing I see besides Leonard Floyd, I guess too, making a difference on the roster.
Yeah,
And then they didn't draft well at all. Like their draft was, I think, was my least favorite besides the Falcons. Right? I think that's what I ended up saying. Like
yeah,
it
I
was
think that's
terrible.
yeah.
So
You
I just
definitely
have
had
them
him
as
as
a
a
total
loser.
loser. Yeah, they were a loser draft, and they're a total loser of the whole cycle. And they're probably still going to end up in the playoffs somehow. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Um, we do have one more winner and loser to be at five.
Okay.
Um,
It,
but
I don't know. I don't feel like there's any really big move for win or loser. Do you think?
one more.
Like, do you think there's? Do you think truly like there's one more winner and loser?
Um,
If you have anybody, go for it.
yeah. I mean, I have one, two, three, four, five more winners
Oh,
left.
okay. Yeah, we can both totally do one then.
But yeah, I would just say one of them. Or actually, I'll say all five, and just like pick one.
Yeah,
These are just like
I'll talk about one of them too then.
um, I have the Colts, Chiefs, Vikings, Steelers, and Titans.
Okay.
Um, and I'm I don't know. I don't know which team I want to talk about, honestly. I mean, obviously, I know which team I want to talk about, but
Okay.
yeah, I'll
Okay.
do it. I'll talk about the Steelers.
Where'd you go? You just
Okay,
started.
I will truly say the Steelers are a winner, not because I'm a Steelers fan. Like, I'm not a Steelers fan page or whatever where or like just a team fan page where they think that they're gonna win the Super Bowl next year. No matter what fan page you click on, it is so bad. It is so bad. At least for the Steelers, it is
Patriots
so.
are fine for some reason.
Oh yeah, the Steelers is just so bad. It's like who's gonna stop this duo? It's like Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and then George Pickens and Calvin Austin. It's like what an average defense, but um, I truly do think this team's a winner because we didn't have a true identity this past season, and I think going into this season we truly do have a identity, and I think our identity is to pound the football. I think we're just gonna absolutely run it, which I love. I'm slowly to starting to love that plan because we have Najee Harris, we have Jalen Warren. We built up that offensive line. We've been building it up for years, slowly throughout the draft. And I think this year it will click. And then we also signed Patrick Queen on the defensive side of the ball, and our linebackers has been so weak these past couple, like since Sagier was a linebacker for us.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe I'm wrong, but that was the last time I could think of a good linebacker group for the Steelers.
Fair.
Um, but I think our defense will be top five in the league. Um, and it really just comes down to the QB situation in my eyes and the wide receivers. Obviously, it's a it's actually three things. Um, Four. Let me say four. Will running the ball be as successful as we hope? Two. Will what are we going to do at quarterback? Who's going to be our starting quarterback?
You have your
Three.
starting punt returner.
Okay, no, I no way that's an actual real like. I know Jalen Warren said that, but like, there's no way they were actually thinking about that. Um, but yeah, wide receiver, quarterback, and will we actually be able to run the ball? And will um, this offensive line be as good as we hope? And I think this team, the Steelers, truly they don't ever really do too much in free agency, and I think they did a lot in free agency. They
Yeah.
got two quarterbacks, so you have two quarterbacks to decide. Like one of them's got to work out, surely.
Surely. Yeah.
That's how they were thinking, I guess. And I think one of them will work out. Which one? I don't know. I see both of them working out. I feel like I see Fields working out more than Wilson because of Fields will be able to run the ball. And yeah, I think he might make a good progression this year. But I think they drafted well. They had a good free agency. They're slowly they're building this team into a powerhouse, somewhat. But yeah,
Yeah. No, I love Dale's draft and just free agency, honestly. You got Russ so cheap too. So like it's your whole season really like if it doesn't work, it's not like you're stuck with $40,000 dead.
yeah,
With $40 million, not 40,000. Um, gosh. Uh I have two teams I actually really thought about for free agency. Or not free agency, but everything in total. Honestly, I think I'm gonna do the Lions because I've talked about the Titans a lot. It's felt underrated. because it felt like they did all they like. There wasn't really anything here. DJ Reader's good. Robinson's solid. Davenport's good. Um, but then you look at their draft, right? And they drafted corners. They got Carlton Davis. They literally filled out the corner room, which was their biggest hurt this past year. Their offense is good. Their pass rush is good. Their interior is good. They, I think, can make a Super Bowl push this year.
Yeah, I agree. And they brought back Ben Johnson and didn't sign um, Jared Goff to a massive contract.
Yes, such a done deal.
So, and you brought back or you re-signed Penny Sewell and St. Brown.
Yeah, which was just phenomenal. Like their whole offseason, great GM, total winner. They did
Yeah,
great. Like there's not much to say. Titans, I'll just say one quick word. I think they were a winner too. They did everything they needed to help this roster. I don't think they'll be like a top team in the AFC, but they might make a playoff push. So
yeah. And going in here, I'll talk about the Titans
yeah,
for a little because I kind of wanted to. I kind of want to talk about the Titans and Colts, um,
okay. We can just do
but
winners
I'll talk
because
about the
I don't
Colts.
really have another loser. So we can just
And
do winners.
okay, yeah, my loser was the Giants.
Fair. I was thinking about that
Not
too.
much else to say.
Yeah, they just kind of mid.
You did nothing.
Yeah,
But the Titans, they went from total rebuild mode. La, um, was it no this year? This year, which I thought they had to. They should have started rebuilding the not last year. They should have traded Henry, released Tannehill, but
yeah.
they didn't. But they really started rebuilding this offseason, and they went into rebuilding, and then they got back into contention. Like I don't know, it was kind of crazy. Like I was low on the Titans, and then now I'm pretty high on the Titans after the Boyd Ridley. Um, I think this will be a very exciting um, team to watch. Um,
Completely agree.
so
I'm so glad you've joined me on this with the Titans being
yeah,
a good team. I remember I've been
because
on it the whole time, like they're gonna be good. Like
you
I've
have
been adamant.
like right when I wrote down the Titans as a winner, I was like, oh, dude, Zane's gonna love this pick.
Hey, I just want to point this out. Nick Folk is almost 40 years old.
That's
He's been in the
crazy.
league for 15 years. I love
He's
this
a
man right
former
here, though.
Patriots, right?
Yeah, he was with us, and we traded him over there. This man is amazing. I miss him.
And he re-signed. That's the funny thing.
Like he's literally gonna be 40 years old during season. That's crazy. Oh man,
um, but do you wanna talk a little bit before I get into the Colts?
I don't really have anything honestly. You've covered it. It was just a good offseason. I liked everything they did. They filled out the secondary, which was mid. Their linebacker group needs a little bit of help, but it's fine. Like you can't
Yeah,
fix everything in one offseason. I'll
yeah,
let you
I
do the
agree.
Colts now, though.
Um, yeah, the Colts. They, I love this team. I truly do. You were one game away from winning, from being into the playoffs. Um, you really had to. You obviously had to resign Pittman, which you did, and I think Pittman is so good. And you're gonna have Anthony Richardson back, and they killed the draft. Um, they didn't do too much in free agency. They just re-signed a lot of players, but I think that's the underrated things that like I still do think they are a winner, even though they did just re-sign some players.
Yeah,
But like re-signing, and they were one win away from the playoffs. I think it's such a big plus too. They still do need some help, but they're slowly building this team. And Richardson's coming back, which I'm very high on Richardson. I really like
I get it.
Richardson. I don't expect him. I
I
do think
I
he will have some struggles, but
I think Levis is getting underhyped while Richardson's getting overhyped. I think Levis is, in my opinion, right now should be ranked higher than Richardson though.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean,
People
I'm
are
right
have you
now.
seen the rankings? They'll have like Richardson at like 14 and Levis at like 24.
Okay, well, Richardson has played 3 games. Those 3 games were good from
They were good.
Richardson. Um, but Will Levis played like a whole season and
Yeah, half the season and
played
played.
pretty well against the Dolphins. Oh my
That was my
gosh,
favorite game all year. It wasn't even a Patriots game. It was my favorite game.
that game was so fun to watch.
Yeah, it was.
Um, but I love the Colts are one of my teams as well as
I get it.
um, but also another team I had were the Vikings.
Dude, I wanted to say the Vikings so bad, but like I just couldn't bring myself to it. Maybe I did.
I
Did I?
mean,
No, I didn't. I almost
no,
said the Vikings. That's why, because I kept hovering over their name, thinking about saying them.
yeah, the Vikings had like a really good offseason, and people aren't like realizing this.
Yeah,
Um, I think they're they signed like all their signings were really good signings,
hmm
in my opinion. Uh, Greenyard, Grenard,
yeah.
good defensive end, good linebacker. Got some linebacker help. Sam Darnold,
QB1.
just in case you don't get a quarterback in the draft, that was a smart pickup. Aaron Jones, he is on the older end of things, but he was a dog last
He
season.
really was.
So, um, Shaquille Griffin doesn't really move me at all, but getting that cornerback depth, and you killed the draft. Dallas Turner, J.J. McCarthy. You really went from a team that lost your starting quarterback to be okay with it. Like
I
you're
do think
okay
they'll
with
be a
losing.
playoff team. Honestly, I think they're a playoff team.
Yeah, and you
Kind of
really
like
have
Texans,
good coaching.
actually. Yes, great
These,
coaching.
yeah. You said what
I
before?
I said they're gonna be like a Texans type team.
Oh yeah, that NFC North is very difficult though. That's
I
one
hate
big
it so
thing.
much. Like, why is it so good?
I know. Like the Vikings are another one of my teams.
Yeah,
Like I
they've been
think one
killing it.
episode. I think one episode we should just like rank teams,
Oh yeah, yes. I think that'd be
like based
fun.
on our favorites.
Right, either that way or just like all 32 teams ranked out. It'd
Wait,
be
like oh, who we
like
think will be
32
good?
through first, how good we think they are.
Oh, dude, that's actually a solid episode.
Yeah, we probably have to split it in two parts though.
Yeah. I
It'd be
mean, but
fun.
that's basically the off season, or that's like basically like predicting the
The
regular
season, which
season.
we can do that right before season starts, I'm sure.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
All right, all good. I you covered everything. I think a lot of teams won the off season more than lost. It was a lot of good compared to bad. Like there was just very little bad for a lot of teams this off season. I just think that worked perfectly. Um, yeah, I don't know. Do you got anything else to say?
I do not
Yeah, I feel like
said everything I wanted to.
yeah, I've kind of said what I've wanted to say on every team. Um, just great off seasons overall. I really hated on very few. Um, Green Bay, we didn't talk about Green Bay. I just want to say they had a solid off season. Not
Oh
great,
yeah,
not
I did
bad, but
right.
good off season. We kind of talked about every other team in the division. I felt like we had to kind of put them in there at some point.
Yeah, the NFC North was just a winner.
They're just dogs. They're a bunch of dogs over there. Um, but yeah, I feel like that's where we're gonna wrap it up today. So I just want to say thank you all for listening to another episode of the Dropback Podcast. Be sure wherever you're listening to leave a like, follow, subscribe, or a comment. We always appreciate it. If y'all disagree with any takes or anything, let us know down in the comments below. As always, thank you all for tuning in. I hope y'all tune in the next one. and peace out.
Peace.